Hello. Don't hear that. But it had to happen. Even behind, blowing eyes, no wonder. I mean, I died because for rolling, but they were chosen to try to roll. This has been seen in older myth. I can't even see. Where are you supposed to go? God, good. Arr! How many? I got always more. There's always more. way less. Oh, you tried, my man. You tried so hard. You didn't succeed. That stupid. Nutty stuff, I know. My man must be confused. Oh, fuck. Oh. Who's painting this?
There's a face I've not seen before. Well, you can see how things have turned out. The meaning all about they gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Moon won't hold much longer. Take this. By way of apology. But I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Mirren does not fall into the wrong hands. I'm in your debt for keeping this no longer a secret. Lest you do spend my remaining days with her. Thanks to you, and devote my rumor my only hope that remains intact. Thanks to you, I devote my remaining rumor my only hope that... How could this be? My daughter deserves better. Before I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered. I'll find them. And the foul witch is responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Elena, it will be done. I'll find the foul witch. I'll hunt them down. Rest assured.
Oh, the Hayden dude. That's proper hunting. feel like I'm going insane. I thought there was a way to view all your new items. Clearly, I am insane in the membrane.
This case was filed on February 18th, 2025. That's 1 year, 3 months. We have 264 docket entries. That's almost one filing every other day for a case that has one screenshot worth of evidence from a person who dodged discovery for 8 months. After months and months and months, after discovery is closed, by the way, you're finally getting a sanction for spoliation. Now, no motion to compel during discovery. Nothing was discovered after discovery closed that would lead you to think that something is amiss. Because what they're trying to do is simply try to make the judge think there's more evidence than there actually is, because they're just trying to survive in this way. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe because they think the trial will be mean. I truly don't know. Plaintiff's motion for sanctions under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 37E2 for defendant's spoliation of evidence. Plaintiff moves for sanctions under FRCP 37E2 for spoliation ESI, central to her Cardi claim. I have a conspiracy theory that I have absolutely no support for. I have not talked to a single lawyer that has heard of submitting everything to some third-party vendor for generating discovery or whatever. I don't know if Kafka had. I've never heard of this in my life. But my conspiracy theory is the reason why they used that third-party thing is because I bet that it let Joanne go through all of the files for her to more easily sort out what she wanted to turn over and what she wanted to hide. That's what I think. That's why she because when I provided information to them, it was just full conversation logs from this date to that date. So hundreds or thousands of messages in like a full conversation log. Whereas from me to them, it was just single messages. Every single message was its own date stamp. But I think now it's because she used that third-party platform to selectively release stuff to us from them to me. Yes, that's what I think. That's why I think they used it. Why did you comply with discovery before they turned it over? I mean, technically it's illegal observation.
I don't think it's
It's never considered they would just lie and cheat and hide everything. I mean,
Yes,
how much
that's true.
after defendant's duty to preserve attached, he deleted his communications with multiple witnesses and destroyed the Google Drive files and Discord attachments he transmitted to them. As to one witness, ABMC, defendant filed a sworn, true and correct log of 22 outbound media files and produced none of them. You can eat my entire fucking ass. I will rot beneath the prison before I ever give any pornographic videos of mine to you disgusting fucking nasty fucking piece of shit. To you and fucking Lauren, whatever other goggle disgusting fuck pedo weirdo porno friends you have. I will never ever. The fact that you would even suggest this, that I need to turn over that was one of the discovery requests, by the way, was every single image and video that I sent over the past 5 years. You are crazy. It's called e-discovery, and it's much more common for patent litigation. Sure. It wouldn't surprise me if like these platforms were used if you have like hundreds of thousands of date stamps or whatever worth of like or actually you like tons and tons and tons of documents to go through. Like I could understand it, but for cell phone messages and shit, the law is demonstrably false. It omits 2 additional Google Drive links. Defendant's own chat thread shows him sending. Remarkably, defendant spent time and effort creating this false, true and correct log, but no time or effort in getting the video removed from Kiwi Farms or other sites. I guess you can just lie in footnotes, but I mean, like, the Supreme Court doesn't matter, and the federal courts don't matter, and literally 0 fucking courts matter, I guess, for fucking anything, I guess. So I guess I could just lie in every single fucking footnote, because it's part of the record that I did go through efforts to DMCA stuff, to contact the registrar to take some stuff down, that we sent an email to Noel. But I guess we can just lie in our footnotes, I guess. Okay, base. Defendant spoliation strikes at the heart of the case. The destroyed evidence bears directly on the dispositive merits issue in defendant's pending MSJ. Whether defendant transmitted intimate recordings of plaintiff after parties October 1st, 2022 effectively, then why wasn't this part of your motion for summary judgment? Why is this a separate motion for sanctions? Like, this is a thing that comes during this is like pre-trial shit. Why wasn't this argument attached to the MSJ response? But technically, the judge could just rule on it before even getting to this and just toss this, but whatever. Defendant's own productions show that in 2023, he transmitted multiple Google Drive links and other media to IBNC, including a May 5th, 2023 link sent with the message, "Did I ever send you the one of the blowing me? The underlying files no longer exist." This was a Google Drive link from 2023 for a person that, to this day, has no reason to even be involved in this case. So, ignore the fact that I don't even have an obligation to keep any of this shit. Okay? I still do, and I still did have everything, which is why I was able to turn it over, because I do document and archive all my stuff. Plaintiff's forensic expert, Jesus Pena, has confirmed the defendant's preservation and production were forensically unreliable. Again, this word forensic doesn't make any sense, but again, I don't know if they saw a TV show or the AI or whatever, but like, forensics don't begin with the accused. Doesn't make any sense to say this. Nothing about that makes any sense. You can edit whatever you want, destroy whatever you want, generate a hash, submit it to e-discovery. I mean, that's what the plaintiff has done. She's hidden all of her messages with Stranger. She has messages with defendant used non-native third-party tools. There are no native tools to extract this metadata, so all of them are going to be third-party. Generated no hash values or metadata. These are meaningless things. Manually reconstructed parts of Exhibit E. Everything you see is going to be some reconstruction, because there's no such thing as an original export with non-third-party, so none of this makes sense. And rendered the Google Drive files and Discord attachments unrecoverable. This Discord doesn't save all of those files indefinitely, and neither does Google Drive. Defendant never moved to exclude defendant, never deposed him, and disclosed no rebuttal expert. Yeah, because I don't think you need an expert to rebut a retard. Rule 37E2 applies where ESI that should have been preserved is lost because a party failed to take reasonable steps to preserve it, acting with intent to deprive another party of its use. Scansa, blah, 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 blah. The defendant's own deposition, testimony, productions, sworn statements, and public admissions establish each element. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court strike defendant's defenses and enter judgment in plaintiff's favor. As to liability or find under Rule 37E2, the defendant intentionally spoliated evidence with intent to deprive plaintiff of its use in this litigation and proceed or instruct the jury that it must remain but the destroyed Google Drive files defendant transmitted to Abby in 2023, including one or more of the 3 intimate recordings of plaintiff the defendant admitted at deposition he made. Plaintiff also requests an award for reasonable attorney's fees and cost infringement. Defendant testified that he recorded 3 of the videos of plaintiff. The video probably was unearthed by a non-associate of Silicon Beats. Depicts plaintiff performing roles as a defendant. Defendant has admitted transmitting that video to a non-party witness Rose in April of 2022 before parties correct date. The merit dispute is whether any of the 3 recordings of plaintiff was transmitted or was still accessible on or after parties October 1st, 2022 effective date. Non-party witness Abby has submitted 2 sworn declarations attesting to defendant's transmission of her after parties. So 2 yes, but both are basically the same thing. But okay. Yeah, I like how I'm recording these like I'm recording these solo or whatever. The defendant's duty to preserve attached no later than November 29th, 2024, when Solo Tiny Leaks publicly posted intimate content of plaintiff and others, putting defendant on notice that litigation was reasonably foreseeable. You're saying here that after another account starts leaking shit of mine onto the internet, that I have a duty to I'm not allowed to protect myself and delete any other videos across all of my social media? $37. Thank you for the 10 for the 2 subs. The funny thing is that plaintiff literally reminded me. She was like, hey, make sure you delete everything in your conversation with this guy. And I'm pretty sure even Judge Becerra in the very beginning of this case, in the first hearing they had, I think even she said, hey, wouldn't it make sense that somebody would be deleting stuff, their account shit was getting leaked? Fuck, you have to buy these on Playset. What an insane claim that as soon as my shit gets leaked online, I am completely and totally disallowed from cleaning up any of my DMs to anybody else. I'm not allowed to delete any message. I'm not allowed to do anything because I should just assume that someone's gonna fucking sue me. How much you would bet that if you look at this case, this is absolutely not even remotely related to this claim. Actually, I don't even believe that. I'm not going to waste my time. The duty was reinforced on January 23rd, 2025 by a hand and email served demand for preservation of evidence, which directed defendant to immediately initiate a litigation hold for potentially relevant USI. The court itself reinforced the duty at the April 4th, 2025 hearing. You can't destroy evidence after you're on notice of the suit and the preservation letter has been sent. It's funny that they quote the judge there. That was the judge rebuking them for trying to get a preliminary injunction. And there's already a notice. What the fuck did you need a preliminary injunction? Defendant deleted his communication and the witness record attached. The defendant communicated with at least 5 witnesses whose communications are irrelevant. According to who? Plaintiff, Abby MC, Hannah Brown, Witness A, Witness B, before and after the November 2024 leaks, each attests the defendant deleted his side. Abby MC, the defendant admitted at deposition that he deleted his Discord messages with Abby MC sometime maybe at the end of 2024. He also admitted on May 13th, 2026 live stream that after the leaks in January or February, I ran like a whole redact on my Discord, thereby placing the deletion squarely after his preservation duty had attached. The duty is to preserve. Not that I can't remove content from other platforms. I have to preserve. That's why the only evidence in this entire case that we can argue about is the evidence that I've provided. Abby MC separately attests that in April of 2025, the defendant deleted all of his direct messages via the Discord platform, including the sharing of the video on Big Scale. The destruction is critical. Due to defendant's deletions, Abby MC cannot produce the video, and defendant produced none of the media files that he sent to Abby MC. Again, eat my entire ass. Hannah Brooke. Brooke attests that defendant deleted his messages to her on Discord sometime in early February 2025 because Hannah was leaking her DMs in Jistle's Discord server, but she also has nothing at all to do with this court case. Defendant admitted communicating with Brooke on Discord, and when asked whether he deleted those communications, conceded it's possible. Plaintiff requested the Brooke communications, but defendant produced none. Probably couldn't find out about these. Witness A, sometime after January 21st, 2025, defendant deleted the messages between Witness A and him on Discord, removed her access to the Google Drive containing the explicit content he had shared. They try to make this weird argument of, that I had some massive, this is a key reform argument, that I just had some massive Google Drive folder with every fucking video I'd ever recorded. I think they're like a little bit here. Defendant produced no communication with Witness A. I don't even know who this one is. Witness B, defendant admitted to Witness B that he shared her video with Reddit. Witness B, sometime after the November 29th, 2024 leaks, Witness B discovered defendant had deleted messages between them. If that's the S person, I mean, they deleted their messages between the first. I don't even know what this, again, there's no relevance whatsoever to our case. Why are they obsessed with getting their hands of the actual vid? I explained, because Casey shares all of the stuff that I've given her in Discovery. She shared it with Lauren. And I know she has because Lauren's gone around behind the scenes talking about it. Because they're both disgusting, grody pieces of shit. Well, this is page 7, Judge Court. Oh. And I will tell you that even as he fled it so far, and we'll see what the defense says, that if I got sued for distributing materials about a woman, and I may have done that with other women, then I might say to myself, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. Let me delete that. Let me take that back. Let me not do those things I'm being alleged that I'm doing because maybe those things are bad and I shouldn't be doing it. That may be one of the things that's going on. That's not spoliation. I don't know. Some of the stuff that's in this motion, I'm not finding on its face what the connection is to this case. I assume you will make that argument to Judge Torres and connect it up to how it's connected to this case, because some of that, I don't know, is a spoliation issue even, right? At least how you played it so far, or how you argued it so far. This was during when they were arguing their temporary restraining order, I think. The defendant deleted his side of his Discord communications with plaintiff and her review, leaving her unable to access his messages. The defendant produced a two-way Discord chat thread with plaintiff. The defendant's transmission of intimate images are not visible in the thread itself, and they produce none of the underlying attachments. They're not, I don't know if they're not relevant. Like, I think, I don't even know why she would think those are real, when they're claiming that every single thing I'm producing isn't authenticated anyway. All I know is that they asked for a reproduce them, but I'm just curious how this works. If you back up the Discord logs and then delete them, if it wants to back it up as well, she won't be able to, no? How can it be checked if you tampered with the evidence at that point? How is that handled? This is civil court, bros. It's like, if the evidence is what it purports to be, and seems to be that way, then you just accept it as true. Now, I think that also, or I think we could have a discussion if they're providing evidence, and it's different then I think then maybe we would get more into the argument. That would be a material dispute of fact that the jury would have to decide, right? Well, he's producing logs that show this. Well, our logs say this. And now, the burden is on the parties to explain why are these different. And they would have their argument, and I would have my argument. But in this entire court case, they've produced absolutely fucking nothing on their side. It's just them endlessly trying to needle my evidence that I've produced for not being good enough. That's it. But also, how is it on my side to preserve evidence for this court case starting on November 24th, 2020, or November whatever, 2024, but not on the 9th? Also, the only person who's admitted to deleting evidence and not backing it up in this case is Pixie. To Steelman, are there cases where your side actually makes the other side unable to produce evidence? Then you can't win those cases. What do you mean? You can't sue somebody and say, I'm suing them for a thing they did wrong, and I think they had all the evidence for that wrong and they deleted it, and I don't have any evidence of that. That's not justiciable. What's the court supposed to do? Take out a fucking magic 8-ball? The defendant has made 3 distinct productions concerning his communications with FEMC. Compared against one another, they establish both fabrication and destruction. The two-way Discord chat thread, a 36-page chronological tabulated export of Discord direct messages between defendant and ABMC, covering March 7, 2023 through May 7, 2025. I like how, even in my deposition where they were deposing me, every bait stamp was an SB. Everything was stuff that I provided. There was nothing that they even had to ask me questions about for stuff that they produced. I don't know if there was a single exhibit that they had from their side. They didn't have evidence? They have no evidence in this case. They have nothing. Every log is mine. Every bait stamp is just marking stuff that has been available during discovery. So SB, that bait stamp is for Stephen Bunnell, and then this is a specific document that's being referred to. Didn't they ask you about the ABMC screenshot? Oh, they had there, but they did produce that. That was there. The thread contains 4 Google Drive URLs. Defendant transmitted ABMC in 2023. April 24th. Google Drive URL preceded by defendant's message as a part of the video. Meet reading someone out. You want it. May 5th, 2023. Google Drive URL preceded by defendant's message. Did I ever send you the one upload below me? November 3rd. 2 consecutive Google Drive URLs. The thread also references numerous audio recordings, video files, and other media defendant was sending or had sent to ABMC, but the transmissions of those files are not visible in the thread itself, and the underlying files were never produced. Eat shit. Only the transmissions from ABMC to defendant are visible, and only those underlying files were produced. The one-sided Discord expert. Defendant produced a 106-page. Dude, my production compared to these fucking losers is unreal. Defendant produced a 106-page export captioned for the username ICU and rendered in the Discord user interface. The export covers the same time frame but contains only ABMC side. No responses from defendant appear for more than 2 years until May 1st, 2025. The 2 productions display different usernames for the same person, confirming they were generated at different times, and contradicting defendant's sworn statement that he preserved the entirety of his ABMC communications. Well, depending on when I take an export from Discord, it's going to depend on what her name is probably rendered as. Like, it's just so much. They're just trying to throw up. They're just trying to throw up enough smoke to survive the MSJ, because there is no possible way to get other people's messages from Discord. But like, even if I were to ask for a Discord export of the data package that they have for their GDPR compliance, that only has my message. It doesn't have anything from the other person. You have to use a third-party tool. I think I usually use Discord Chat Explorer. You have to use a third-party tool in order to export the other side's conversation. So how do they know the May 5th video is Pixie? They don't, but they're just saying maybe it was. It wasn't, by the way, because this is a set of Google Drive URLs that is a video of me eating somebody out and then I think them blowing me. But they know for a fact, they know 100% that this can't possibly be the Pixie video, because in the messages that follow this, that I have produced for them and they've seen, I'm pretty sure I talked about busting this chick's mouth, which Pixie not even didn't have it. So they know that this video can't possibly be, right? And then me and Pixie didn't record any videos whatsoever relating to me eating her out at all. Not that I'm aware of, unless she secretly brings it. So this also can't possibly be her video. So they know for a fact, they know 100 million % that neither of these videos could possibly be what they're looking for. They know that. Confirming that generated at different times, blah, blah, blah. The thread in Exhibit B also references numerous audio recordings, blah, blah, blah. Wow, got it. Thank you for the 5-tier 1 subbers. Defendant self-prepared. Exhibit E. On January 30th, 2026, defendant filed in support of his MSJ a declaration of learning. Attached here to his Exhibit E is a true and correct log of every media file and Google Drive link that I ever sent to Abby and C. And I have preserved the entirety of my communication logs with Abby and C, including all media files. Exhibit E lists 22 entries between March and November 2023. Only 2 are Google Drive links, both November 3rd, 2023. Exhibit E, I don't know how the fuck this would have happened. I guess it's possible that I didn't copy 2 links here onto that, onto the exhibit list here. I have to go back and check how that could have even happened, but the only reason they even know this is because I gave them my whole conversation history with Abby and C. So, like, on one hand, my conversation history with her is doctored and unreliable, but on the other hand, it's so reliable that they are trusting to use my own doctored evidence to impeach me about, like, a spreadsheet that I made of all the files that I had sent to her. Like, also, by the way, when did I make this production? Is that date listed anywhere? I'm pretty sure we produced these files back in fucking 2025. Like, why not ask for an explanation or ask for a different compilation or whatever you feel like? Like, nothing here was discovered after my deposition. Nothing here was discovered, you know, in the past few weeks. You were sitting on this stuff for months, maybe for a year. So what? Why did we wait so fucking long to file this? And defendant has produced none of the 22 items Exhibit E identifies as having been sent. The underlying Google Drive files are not existing anymore. Again, I'm sorry, you disgusting piece of, like, fucking sand, whatever the fuck. The idea that you think you can sue me and then start naming random fucking witnesses that have nothing to do with this case, and then ask for dozens of videos of jerk-off material of you are out of your fucking mind. I cannot. One of the most disgusting requests I've ever seen is that nasty fucking whatever begging me for fucking porn videos of myself and other people. Literally eat shit. How fucking gross. The defendant has thus, in a single filing, sworn that 22 specific items of responsive ESI existed within his control and failed to produce any of them. The destruction is conclusively established by the defendant's own admissions. There is nothing about any of this that says that I have to every single underlying media file. Chances are the underlying media files for this Google Drive link were probably deleted years ago. But, okay. Defendant's deposition testimony confirms that he possessed the very record his productions lack. But how do you even know that I'm missing something unless it's because you see it in my productions? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? To create Exhibit E, defendant sorted all the sent messages to Abby and C's Discord account, and then he deleted every message that didn't contain a media file and put into a spreadsheet the timestamp for which he sent any media files. The source he used was therefore a complete chat thread containing every outbound message defendant sent Abby and C, with each attachment identifiable by name and timestamp. What? No, it's just the same fucking log that I produced up here. Does she think there's some other... Like, they're pretending like there's some more... Aren't they saying there's a discrepancy? Yeah, I don't know how the fuck this happened. I don't have to go back and check. Maybe something I worked will explain this. But basically, I provided, like, it was, what did they say, 106 pages of my chat logs with Abby. And then from here, to try to show that, like, I've never sent Abby any fucking videos related to fucking Pixie ever. From this 106 pages, I created a spreadsheet that showed here's every single media file, link, attachment, or whatever that I've ever sent to Abby, and, like, you know, I can source or through other conversations, like, here's where all of these things are, here's what they link to, like, none of these had to do with Pixie or the plaintiff. But they're saying that if you go through all 106 pages of here, there's actually 24 links. There's 2 Google Drive links that I didn't include down here, which I don't know about to check. I don't think that's true. Maybe I fucked up my transfer from here to here. But regardless, first of all, it's not like I'm hiding it. like, the most obvious explanation here. Keep in mind, for a spoliation that they're looking for this adversarial reading, you have to show that I'm intending to doctor and destroy evidence. Why would I give you the links up here and then try to hide them down here? It's just so stupid. Also, I know the text that I remember reading this. I know the videos he's referring to, and they know these videos aren't of the plan. They know it. They know that 100%. Guaranteed. Yeah, what you're really looking for, though, what should have happened was, after they realized this, they should have filed a motion to compel for me to produce the stuff they claimed I was not producing. And then my failure to comply or to comport with the motion to compel more naturally leads during discovery, by the way, I think more naturally leads to the spoliation claims. But how are you going to claim spoliation when you didn't even ask us for this? And you even had some of these. It's just like so fucking so stupid. I don't even know where they got this theory from. I don't know if this was a theory from. I haven't read my theory in a while. But I don't know if this came from if this came from, I'm gonna look this up. Where this theory came from, I have no clue. The defendants produced at separate date stamp numbers the attachment files WMC sent to him, but produced no attachment files that were sent to her, because she hasn't deleted any of her Discord messages. But there's no way to back up. Even if you ask for Discord to send you a backup, Discord doesn't send you an attachment. It only sends you the link to Discord CDN. But produce no attachment files to send to her and one under any case number. Either he still possesses them and has withheld them, or is the motion to compel it, or he destroyed them after January 30th, 2026, or he modified the source to strip his outbound transmissions prior to production. Excuse me? Evidence? Hello? What the fuck? Each scenario is destruction or non-production of ESI, and himself confirmed under oath having had in his possession. The defendant also admitted that he did it was paying on a public food shop live stream broadcast on September 8, 2025, 1 week when we filed Exhibit E. The defendant told his audience, information is lost, there is no original file, I'm trying to reconstruct a file, I'm artificially creating a file by reconstructing a log. At deposition, he testified that he was merging files with different timestamps, Unix code versus universal time code, to make it line up. How does that support your... statement up here? By the way, there is no original file. That's just true. There is no native, non-third party Discord. That's just a fact. I'm sorry, but there was nothing she submitted to compare to. I feel like the comparison with what she submitted was the strongest argument. That's because you're fucking retarded and you're thinking like this is a real court case with real claims. No, there is nothing. There is nothing to compare this to. That's why there hasn't been a single time in this entire court case where the plaintiff has said, we are seeing this on our side, but the defendant hasn't produced anything that seems to line up with what we're seeing, or what they produced was in contrast to what we have. Like, they have nothing. May 5th, 2023, omission is independently dispositive. Also, keep in mind that Abby MC, and I know why she said this, by the way, because she was just looking back at her fucking messages to try to make up whatever sounded believable. Abby's in her two sworn declarations. She said that I sent her the videos in November. So why did this May 3rd thing, or May 5th thing, why did this have anything to do with it? But okay, I guess we're going to debate on that. At 23:25:29, defendant sent Abby MC the message, "Did I ever seem to be the one up there blowing me?" He sent a Google Drive URL. The URL is now dead. The underlying file is destroyed. The link does not appear on defendant's sworn true and collect log. Like, the log This is an artificially constructed thing. Why don't they bring that up? The log is me copying every single thing from the 106 pages of discovery for her conversation. It's just me producing, like, well, here's a log of every link I sent. If the link depicted plaintiff, defendant made a post-party transmission of intimate content of her, establishing the very transmission his MSJ denies. Oh, so if you just bring in every single person and then you have them say that I can't reproduce every single underlying file for every single Google Drive link I've ever sent in my life, every single one of those could be Pixie's video. If it depicted any other individual, defendant's sworn completeness statement is independently disproven. Either scenario establishes intentional spoliation. ABMC's October 12, 2023 message in the produced thread, I still watch the video, supports the inference that what defendant sent on May 5th, 2023 depicted plaintiff more than a year before the leak. ABMC was openly impressed with DJ video defendant has sent her. And that video does not appear on Exhibit E. What else did she say about the video, though? It's like very clearly and very obviously not the same one, but... Do you think that Jane Doe's parents would bribe people like Abby? I would do this if I was in her position and had loaded terms to pay for her life. I don't know who bullied Abby. My guess is Fiscal. I do know that I've heard people tell me that Abby said that her father was going to put a hit out on me prior to doing any litigation. My guess is he reconsidered because I'm like an e-celeb and he might be retarded. So I don't know how serious that was or not. Maybe he was just mad. Who the fuck knows? I don't know, but plaintiff's forensic expert confirmed the obstruction and fabrication. His report is unrebutted. Plaintiff provided an expert report, a sus pending, to defendant on October 16, 2025, in compliance with the scheduling order. Here are the principal findings. Exhibit E's timestamps are offset from the chat thread by 10 hours, an offset corresponding to no genuine time zone conversion and consistent only with manual reassembly. Like, you really brought in an expert witness to nitpick the fuck out of the only logs that have actually been submitted in this fucking place. Really. That's what we're doing. How did you learn about the idea to hit out on you? People contacted me. More and more people have been contacting me after more stuff has come out, telling me more of the plaintiff's behavior towards the beginning of this court case. What else did this conviction say? The defendant's preservation method, a third-party tool called Discord Log Exporter, producing an HTML file converted to PDF, stripped group message timestamp metadata. No cryptographic values were generated. Again, this is just like a retarded thing that they just keep saying over and over and over again. At the time of preservation or export, the closing forensic verification office received this statement of the superintendent expert. The defendant conceded this at deposition. Where's the quote? You're telling me this. We did 6 hours of deposition and you couldn't even pull a single quote out of me to justify this? You couldn't even pull a quote out that looked good? Remember what I said during deposition? One of the big issues with Joanne, or Joan doesn't know anything about like tech. So she would ask questions and I would get an answer with a crystal clear, explicit answer that was just immaculately preserved for the record, in my opinion. And I guess it actually was, because she couldn't even fucking pull a quote out of it to back up like what she's saying here. Jesus. The Google Drive files and Discord attachments when transmitted to ABMC are unrecoverable by defendant's own act. Defendant testified that by the time I produced anything for this case, those files would not exist anymore. As to native Discord attachments, when a sender deletes an attachment, it would delete it from the Discord core servers and then the CD and Magic servers. Defendant admitted running a whole redact of his Discord after the January-February 2025 leaks, which was way before anything having to do with ABMC, but it doesn't matter because I still messed up my text logs. But it's also really retarded because, well, they know this. That's why they're running this new argument of, well, actually, in November, right as soon as his stuff leaked, he should have known that he was going to get sued by Pixie, and that's why he should have preserved every single thing. He should have deleted or wiped or archived any single thing across any of its social media ever, any of goes feels like no matter how targeted it is, if any pushback you offer uses because you are not an expert. I don't know if the case is for us not being an expert. We still do that, or what's like challenging his expertise. Because I think we do is it Dalbert? Or Dalbert? For you go to judge and challenge his expertise. I would hope we could get to do that before, and then he would get thrown out. But the defendant has not rebutted any of these findings. He served no Dalbert motion within the scheduling order deadline, never deposed Kenya, served no interrogatories or document requests directed to the Kenya report, and disclosed no rebuttal expert. I think our Dalbert motion, was after Discovery Code. I think it was in the last one. There was no reason to depose Kenya. I'm not going to pay $50,000 for that. Served no interrogatories or document requests directed to the Kenya report. I don't need the request document from Kenya. All of his findings were already published on 2 volumes in a public forum, so... His belated objection to a single footnote of his MSK reply is procedurally barred and lacks a legal basis. Pena has further declared that Discord's native data package is the best evidence a user can source for outgoing Discord direct message communications. That data package also doesn't include any of the underlying media attachments. Outgoing direct message communications. The third-party tools defendant has described using Discord Logic Exporter, Discord Chat Exporter, and Redact may capture two-sided conversations but generate no cryptographic hash values. The Discord data package doesn't generate any cryptographic hash value, does it? Does Discord have it? I don't know, I've ever seen in my life. What? No, there's nothing in those media attachments. A data package requested after deletion does not retrieve deleted messages, and the defendant admitted he requested his package only post-deletion. I don't know if I said that. I'm sure I got multiple data packages that I requested at a time. But also, that means that the cryptographic hash doesn't matter. You can still delete messages before requesting the package. And if you understand that this is self-defeating, the logic is self-defeating, it's fucking retarded. Defendant's opinion is that there is not like an original message file, just a term they've made up, which is forensically incorrect. But there's not. Discord is not a one-way communication tool. It is a two-way messaging application. There is no way to export a whole conversation using Discord's data request. Defendant refused a neutral forensic examination. On September 18, 2025, plaintiff's counsel proposed a neutral third-party forensic expert to examine defendant's preserved forensic images and data exports with mutual candidate selection. I don't know what the fuck this was. This sounds retarded. What, for a civil case? That you provide the evidence? Why the fuck would we even do all this shit? What are you talking? These motherfuckers are acting like we're on the fucking CIA. What? With mutual candidate selection, a protocol narrowly linked to Google Drive, Gmail, and Discord artifacts can cross-share equally. Defense counsel refused. Defendant's refusal of a neutral, narrowly scoped, cross-shared validation is itself probative. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. What is probative? It means like an alien probe you. Probative means it has some kind of evidentiary weight towards the claim of, basically. It's probative. It can be used to say that there's more, like some increase or decrease in likelihood of something. The three preconditions for Rule 37E relief are met. Should have been preserved. Litigation became reasonably foreseeable no later than November 29th, 2024 when the leaks occurred. Rating for solo. The categories at issue. Defendant's communication with plaintiff, Abiansi, Burke, Witness A, Witness B, his Twitter communication with Gross, his communication with solo Kenny leaks, and with the 7 non-party witnesses, defendant himself identified in his initial disclosures, and the Google Drive files and Discord attachments he transferred to Abiansi are squarely within the scope of evidence when it was obligated to be preserved. Maybe this is just I guess, or it shows that they're desperate, because I feel like the order shoots so hard on some of these, that if we lose on any of them, the judge is going to say, you guys are fucking with nothing. The ESI was lost because defendant failed to take reasonable steps. Defendant testified that he was not sure what a litigation hold means. Because I asked her to clarify the question. She said, What was the question? It was something along the lines of, actually, where I just fucking go find it. Oh, what a sneaky little, very, 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 very sneaky. Oh, I don't even know what the fuck this question means. Her question to me was, did you, after you received the preservation letter, did you place a litigation hold on your DGG chat logs? And my response was, I'm not sure what a litigation hold means. I don't know what the fuck, I don't even know. I don't know. She's just like random shit. She makes it plans over. Destiny, is this current explosive outburst due to your narcissistic rage? Yes, sure. Instead of investigating his obligations or requesting clarification, he conveniently instituted no hold, issued no preservation instructions, made no forensic image, used no forensic collection tool, engaged no e-discovery platform, implemented no collection methodology, and generated no hackers metadata. Excuse me, this question was with regards to my chat. This was with regards to my UGG chat. I like how they're trying to pretend like this was my response to everything having to do with all of our Discord messages. Oh, geez. He continued deleting Discord communications after his duty passed. And his nominal preservation, a Discord log exporter HTML PDF output, was forensically unsound on his case. Defendant also failed to preserve Google Drive activity logs that would have established when and by whom the Pixie video was accessed on Google Drive. What is a Google Drive activity log? This is the first time I've ever heard of it in my entire life. What is a Google Drive activity log? Is this a real thing? Google Drive activity log. The Google Drive activity log checks for the files, communications, edits, renames, deletions, and sharing updates. Oh shit. Fuck, I wonder how far this goes back. Destiny, I think she means legal hold. It usually just means that you preserve and do not delete data that might be related to the case. That's on her to define. I'm not gonna, it's not my fucking job to clarify her fucking question to me. I don't know what the fuck it means when you ask me to put a litigation hold on a public chat room. If you don't know how to properly phrase the question, then that's on you. Figure it out. Rephrase the question and figure out how to ask something meaningful. I'm not gonna sit here and do your fucking job for you to figure out how to ask a meaningful question about preserving chat logs. It's a meaningless question. That's on them. Yeah, I'm not gonna do her job for her. Fuck that. They submit the DM from Discord this way? No, all of their submissions have literally just been screenshots. Edited screenshots also, by the way. It's bully it! On-stream screams, bully. Plaintiff has subpoenaed third party inside one to pursue all available alternative avenues. All my DMs. Even if the defendant went out order to produce the source directly he admitted having the ESI lost the plaintiff cannot be back discovery. Defendant's deposition is conducted without expert report from the trial preparation work product. Plaintiff will otherwise be either to opinions directly. The defendant has a continuing obligation to update discovery as it is available to the Why didn't you file any motions to compel them? When discovery was over, you had all the time in the world. All the time in the world to file a meeting. Nothing has changed. You had all this discovery for a year. Defendant acted with intent to provide plaintiff with use of evidence. The defendant has made 6 demonstrably false sworn statements. Each of the following sworn statements is provably false on the face of the defendant's own substance production, deposition testimony, and live communications. Exhibit E Exhibit E is a true and correct log of every media file and particular link that ever sent to evidence C, disproven by the defendant's own chat thread, which shows him sending evidence C Google Drive links on April 24th and May 5th. Neither appeared on Exhibit E. Exhibit E is literally just a compilation of what I thought were all the media files in the larger log. It is highlighted. I guess maybe I didn't add 2 to the bottom thing. But like, for spoliation, you have to prove intent. Why would I intentionally delete these links that are included in the code reference log? That's the only reason I even know that they're there. It's just such a stupid argument. I have preserved the entirety of my communication logs with Abby and Sue, including all media files. is proven by defendant's own production. None of the 22 items Exhibit E identifies as having been sent to Evidence was produced, and the underlying Google Drive files are not, the logs. Like logs, I don't know for the underlying E itself. I don't even know if it's just typing it out. I have now permanently deleted or destroyed any evidence pertaining to this lawsuit. It is proven by defendant's own production and his repeated public concessions that the records have been destroyed, source, and that Exhibit E is a reconstruction. If Exhibit E is a reconstruction, then why do you care what appears or doesn't appear on Exhibit E? Like, this is the most convoluted argument ever. They're saying that Exhibit E is an artificial file, right? This is their quote from my There's no original file, an artificial created file, a reconstruction log. So they're claiming that Exhibit E is fabricated, but then they're saying that I didn't include 2 links from a chat thread that's also fabricated on my other fabricated thing that's all fabricated. It's just like defendant's denial of plaintiff's RFA number 12, which asked him to admit he had deleted DMs with Discord user legal. They included a bunch of like random people. Like, none of these people have anything to do with Discord. I don't know why the fuck they thought. Dan Saltman is founder, or why they access any messages with that. Dan Saltman is founder and CEO of Redact.dev, a tool defendant claims to use to preserve evidence. Oh no. It runs deep, guys. The defendant produced no communications with Saltman, despite confirming their business relationship and friendship. You know what you could have done? If you think that I was communicating with Dan about his court case in a way that was trying to hide it from you guys, you could have just deposed him. Why didn't they issue him a subpoena or try to depose Dan? In fact, they do a fucking deposition besides mine and Roses that they were so fucking horny and excited to do. Pretty sure all the other requests were in. I guess all the others, not that much. Because I requested they would have requested 2. I would have requested 1, 2, 3. Oh, I wanted to do Abby's, but she wasn't. I think 4 is good. That's it. Considering I'm the defendant, I feel like these plaintiffs are generally... You produced way too much, that's why it's easy for them to throw so much shit and make it sound important. Yeah, I wonder actually, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask my legal team that after this. Should we just not produce anything? Just said fuck it. Also, by the way, you can tell every motherfucker I talk to around me, I say, hey, I'm not talking about this shit anymore. Court case shit. I don't care. I'm talking about it. Fuck about it. But if they don't believe me on that, then why did you depose any of these people? Why did you subpoena any of these people? If you think that I'm hiding stuff. Defendant's testimony that I've used every communication I've ever had with Abby, and I don't believe I've seen it at all. This proves the production itself. In 2A, Abby and C's correct. With Abby and C's transmissions, but none of the 22 outbound items defendant's own Exhibit E. Exhibit E is literally just a spreadsheet I made showing the things that were part of the chat messages that I included.
So many combos. Fuck you, lady.
A Discord thread cannot be complete and missing one party's transmissions. Defendant either deleted his outbound transmissions or fabricated a complete production by stripping his outbound transmissions from a more comprehensive source. It's just not true. What did they put for Daniel? C. Daniel Saltman. Dan is the CEO and founder of Redact.dev. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court take judicial notice of Saltman's public identification as founder and CEO of Redact.dev. Nice. Oh, because they want to get Dan's name thrown in here as well. What a disgusting little fucking lecherous, like, fuck. What an unbelievably disgusting human being. A pattern of 6 demonstrably false sworn statements is direct evidence of a purpose of hiding adverse evidence. Wait, what I don't get is how does getting Dan into this help out? It's not, it's just about, like, having his name here that people can link and try to disparage him for fucking Hassan himself on it. Fucking say, hey, throw it in and that. It wouldn't surprise me if Hassan's already referenced. You know Dan Saltman, like, revenge porn court case? The defendant selectively preserved evidence that helped him and destroyed, or did not. The defendant has admitted his deletion practice is selective and comprehensive. Asked at deposition whether it was his custom to delete messages when he stopped communicating with people, the defendant answered, sometimes it depends on the account. This is your... Really? What a crazy answer. Oh my god. What? Did he really say that? He did not delete his messages with Rose. I did. Don't know where you're getting that from. That's a fucking lie. As to Abby, he did not deny deleting stating only that there are plenty of other people I've deleted messages with. Oh my god, bro. They must have been having a struggle session after my deposition. Holy fuck. We gotta be able to pull something out of here, guys, because we literally kicked up a fucking shitstorm over having this deposition for so many fucking months. We gotta pull something. Oh my god. Quote chimping? It's not even good quote chimping. Like, it's just like, ugh. The production confirms the selection. Defendant retained the full two-sided Rose Discord thread, which was not publicly available. That two-sided the two-sided Rose thread was just, that's not from Discord though. That's just a Discord chat exporter chat thread. Solo Tiny Leaks lived on the excerpt, but deleted his Abby MC side and produced two inconsistent versions of the thread. The only outbound, intimate content attachment Defendant produced anywhere in his production is the video claimed to transmit the Rose on April 9,
Tragic timing.
2022.
Why is it tragic timing?
Because I'm definitely not
My Rose production.
You're definitely not what? Living?
going to live, yeah.
Why is that?
Because
Pattern
the
recognition?
base
I don't
for
know.
the full condo with Rose was 1618-1919. This is $500.
I think he's talking about his Elden Ring.
Related to it. The one video Solo Tiny Leaks publicly leaked after which denial was no longer real. Every other outbound
What a
attachment
fucking
was-
dodge!
Defendant produced his received attachments as separate base streams. He produced no sound effects to inform asymmetries, not preservation failure. It is selection.
Damn it.
The defendant has twice
Yeah.
admitted the structure of his Abby
No
MC
big
communication was an intentional carve-out. On redirect by his own counsel, I produced every communication I've ever had with Abby. I don't believe anything is going to do with the Abby stuff, even though I'm pretty sure the request for the preservation of evidence wouldn't have even initially covered Abby. 2 weeks after his deposition, he stated on live stream, wait, where's the carve-out? I produced every communication
You
I've
should play
ever
the
had with Abby.
Factorio.
I don't believe anything has been deleted with the Abby stuff. 2 weeks after his deposition, he stated on live stream, Abby was not a part of the
Anything's
full
fine. We
case
can play
at the time.
Factorio if you want.
So technically,
Because,
I could have just said I have nothing with Abby, and I would have been
I'll
told
come
that
back
my
for
rights
you
to write
later.
Hollywood, my rights to be white Hollywood. But I couldn't. Can you read? I could have, but I didn't. The point is not the defendant wiped all of the Abby and scene material. He produced chat threads, critical content, and metadata missing. This means something. The point is that the defendant has admitted, twice and under oath, that he believed the Abby and C communications were outside the scope of his preservation obligation. I mean, they were, but I produced it anyway. Maybe.
Thought I heard my text that time.
No, I didn't hear it.
You fucker.
Or do you already have it open or something?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Pull that up.
Okay. What are we working on? This is going to be a copper line. Right here.
Yes.
Okay.
The copper line is in.
Copper plates.
And I would want to go that way? Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you want for copper plates?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna reformat this for that spot.
Favorite color.
Purple. Radar or repair pack?
Radar stuff.
Power went out. Because there's not enough, or
That would be my assumption.
yes, not enough. There's plenty of coal in there. Okay. I need a bunch of plates.
Yeah.
I actually forgot what the loadout was. Never mind. Very high. Don't know. I don't know why I thought they were going to be putting it on the belt.
do I cancel this? What the hell? It's not canceling. I can't get rid of this.
I like this.
Right clicking isn't working.
Weird.
What the fuck? Oh my, what the fuck? Yeah, that was fucking annoying. Yep. Did we have the same idea at the same time?
Is to make use of the 3 iron bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I scouted it. I was like, oh heck yeah, this is perfect. There's only a small little nest right above
Yep.
the water and coal.
Does radiation still kill you?
Yeah, but these aren't radioactive.
Oh, okay.
Did you stock up on bullets?
I have 87.
That's certainly
I hope
stocked
that-
up.
I hope that's enough.
I mean, we had like what, 20 that we took out of nest.
I don't have a way to get into those boilers.
Nice. Why not? Well, I don't think you need to get to them. You just need to
Yeah,
control.
With feeders, so it automatically gives it coal?
Oh, with feeders.
Yeah, it doesn't reach like that. Just go vertical. Play this shit out. It is 2 to 1, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot to make one. I can make a whopping 3 more.
And you also kind of want a space, because you won't be able to get to these two right here with the other power, because they all have to be connected to their own power pole. Like this. Do I not have any? I thought I made pipes already. Like this. Yeah.
That's all we got.
Oh, shit. Pat didn't want to play anything.
I didn't ask.
Alright, the coal is up and running for that power.
What'd you bring today?
Whole bunch of iron and copper. There you go.
I was gonna make basically a bigger version of this.
That's what I was doing. Hold on. Just trying to make this like modular so I can continue to stack this on top of itself. Like this. Okay, I'll go like this. And now it's fully modular. Yep. How far out do you want to go? Like that?
What is the ratio?
I don't know actually.
Well, that's Does it really not tell you how much it does when it's up powered?
It does mining speed 0.5 per second.
It's 0.5%.
Yep. So one every 2 seconds. Or, yeah, one every 2 seconds.
Oh my god, what every 2 seconds? And, What do you do, sir?
Does it tell you?
I do not. For the very least, I didn't get any useful information. I don't know where you're getting it.
It's right below the no power spot whenever you hover over the damn thing.
Is that 1 per second?
This is 0.5 per second. When you hover over the electric mining drill,
No, what about the stone furnace?
crafting speed is 1. I believe that it's not that it's 1 per second. I think it's like the iron has a certain amount that it needs to be smelted.
Whatever. We'll see how this works.
Yeah, it's fine.
12 amps?
That stops around here.
Yep.
Make it 5 more. Enshrouded had its skill tree reset, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to finish this Steel X again?
You just make steel.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah. Just need 50 steel. There's not copper near here though, is there? No.
What now?
Not any copper near here.
I
Is what I
think
asked.
that's, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. About to get invaded from the top right.
Their main base, okay. I forgot how fucking annoying making the inserters was.
Yep.
I don't know if they come down, they're just gonna. They should just go for the copper mine, right?
Maybe, but I think it's better to probably just clear them out.
Oh, you want to
No?
clear them out? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with invasions this early. Not when we don't have like turrets set up or anything yet.
True, but that's certainly not. We're not having it.
Not currently, but I like preemptive, right? Best defense is a good offense.
I'm just dreading making inserters.
Yeah. That's why I was hoping there was a copper near that, but there really isn't. There's fucking 3 irons, which is crazy. Shit, I didn't even notice there was a coal right above it. I have it producing steel, so... Not quickly or anything, but it is producing it.
Yeah, steel's nice.
Oh, I see you're making bricks here. Okay.
Yeah, a little convoluted, but I didn't want to.
I think that just to save you on, you can put a normal inserter here. If you've only got 4, you've only got 6. If you got less than 10 smelters, I think you probably only need a normal inserter. That way, this line stays full. I think my goal, by the way, is to just not judge the spaghetti. Just work with the spaghetti. Yeah.
Do I have access to your blueprints?
I don't have blueprints yet.
Oh, how are you doing the copy and paste for the things then? The ghost.
Oh. Copy and paste. I've made one blueprint, I should say. It's a book. I put it in a book. But for the most part, I've been just using the copy tool. Yeah, I have heavy armor now. I'm gonna make you one right now. It's in this chest right here, right next to the researchers, whenever you get the chance. All of this is so you can make, what's it called?
Inserters, yeah.
Alright. already have those made, by the way.
I was gonna add some more drills so we're not completely taking up even more.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do this. There you go. And in fact, I can go like this. Oh. Oh, that's what you meant. More drills on the hole?
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
sure.
fair.
I wasn't sure how much you wanted to like split off from that one main pole. I just wasn't sure.
No, you're good. I was gonna like reload that coal a little bit more, but this works.
Alright.
Basically, I just like to think along the lines of like a single coal line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's not really fun. Yeah.
So then, This is currently plenty of copper right now.
There you go.
Oh yeah, copper is a very fast producing.
Alright. Well, I guess I'll keep this here for now at least, just in case. There goes from it at least. Because that's
31 per second, so it produces 1 every 3 seconds. Iron is also 1 every 3 seconds. Maybe. Might.
Because we need copper
And the
cable
copper.
production.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do right here, off of this, and go up. Do we have a gear storage? We do not have a gear storage. Right? Alright, I'm gonna make a gear storage real quick. Tired of not having gears. It can go slow though. Yeah, because we need copper wire to make circuits, and then circuits to make inserters, right?
Yep.
What that meant to do.
I will be right back.
Yep. Oh. And you need fucking cogs. Oh my god. How fucking hateful.
sir. They harden in response to physical trauma. You can't hurt me, Jack.
One of my favorite things about the Metal Gear franchise has always been, and will probably always be, its cast of varied antagonists. The flamboyant arrogance of Liquid Snake, the freaky Psycho Mantis reading your memory, a literal vampire from Romania, and of course who could forget Revolver Ocelot, one of the great bad guys in the medium who once did this completely unprompted. The villains in these games always kind of perfectly capture that unique Metal Gear tone, which balances legitimately fascinating
I don't know if it's efficient.
history science fiction style with an undeniable
But it's
edge
done.
of self-aware absurdity and humor, blending their personal philosophies
How much do you
along
want to
the
pull from
complex
your already
themes of the series
conveyor
to
belt
deliver something that is
box?
always one of a kind. But
From
there
what?
is one of these villains that
You have a
stands out
box
to
full of
me as a
conveyor
little bit
belts?
different from all the rest. Maybe
Yeah, I
because
do.
he's the star of a
Right here.
spin-off
Yeah.
action-oriented Metal Gear
Fucking
game,
pull
or
his-
maybe
pull
because
it-
he looks
pull it
like
out, I
an
don't care.
8th grade math teacher.
That's what
But
I'm-
with his gargantuan forehead, bulging
Yep.
muscles, and the commentary.
Yes,
he carries
pull it
from
all out.
American
That's
what I'm
National
saying.
and Warmonger.
Pull it all
Senator
out.
Stephen Armstrong has,
Pull
over
it
the last
all out.
15 or so years, established himself as an obvious fan favorite. A villain that has a certain charisma about him, a vulgar and hilarious aura. At first glance, a joke of a character. But when you take a closer look at his ideals, his methods of evil in this game, and his ultimate goals, it becomes clear to me anyway that he is so much more. The Apex American, infused with cutting-edge nanomachines, commanding squadrons of elite cyborg warriors, and laughing all the way to the polls as he guns for the presidency of the United States. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to the Villainpedia, a video series where we take these long runs at the most
Watch it hit the
evil
top
characters
left.
video games have to offer, trying to figure out
Bug
what makes
Nest
each
as
one of
well.
them truly special. I am Ghost, your host, as always, and I would say today's episode is a long time. But really quick, I do want to thank all of my amazing
the first thing I'd like
patrons
to
for
research
supporting me
is
over on Patreon. Away from
next
the
hour.
tyranny of YouTube, you guys are the greatest. Now, let's waste no more time and begin. Well, first off, I want to assure you that if you have never personally played a Metal Gear game, or if you just find its massive layered narrative a little intimidating, a little ridiculous, do not worry. You can still enjoy Armstrong's title, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and this video for that matter, with no problem whatsoever. Because when you're taking a look at the bigger Metal Gear timeline, Metal Gear Rising actually takes place at the very, very end, a handful of years after the main event starring Solid Snake, with all the crazy stuff that makes Metal Gear Metal Gear. And it really is a spin-off in the truest sense of it, being developed by a completely different company and a completely different game director that isn't Kojima. To some fans, it isn't even canon, but I don't really play it. That being said, when it comes to Senator Armstrong, there are a couple things from these past titles that are pretty vital to understanding his villainous philosophies. Most importantly of all, I would say, is the faction known as the Patriots. So, for simplicity's sake, if you don't already know, you can think of the Patriots as an organization similar to like the Illuminati, a force that looms over all the core games in the series, a shadow government of powerful and influential individuals founded way back in the 1970s that over the course of these games, so like 30-ish years, successfully assumed almost complete control of the United States, its government, and its people, with its ultimate goal sounding noble in theory, to create a world united, without borders, without nations. But the methods to achieve that goal, well, those were something of a serious
I was wondering what
issue.
you were trying to
And
do.
over time,
I see.
as complex infighting and
This is weird.
betrayals and crazy-ass drama began to seriously disrupt the Patriots, a massive artificial intelligence network known as GW, or George Washington, was constructed to take command of the Patriots' mission. And if you ever thought all those jokes about Kojima predicting the future were stupid, get this. The GWAI was programmed to censor and manipulate every imaginable form of digital communication. I'm talking mass surveillance, social media, messaging of major news networks, and just general internet traffic, while also controlling all military weaponry, nukes, and every single branch of the United States government. So this is like a true deep state, you know, what some of the technocrats of our real world likely dream about establishing themselves. However, the entire history of the Patriots, all the characters that were involved, The decay of that mission over time and everything else, it's way too much to go into here today, believe me, and honestly isn't totally relevant to Armstrong. But what is important to understand is that by the early 2000s, all thanks to them, war had become by far the biggest and most lucrative business on the planet, with private military companies in America raking in billions of dollars annually. Essentially, armies without a nation, mercenaries for hire equipped with futuristic technology and funded by the Patriots themselves to ensure never-ending conflict all around the globe, and thus a total constructed monopoly on this war economy as well as control over global geopolitics. However, thanks to the events of Metal Gear Solid 4, the Patriots' stranglehold on the United States was finally put to an end in the year 2014, with the organization being dissolved and destroyed down to the last AI node and surviving members by who else but our hero, Solid Snake. But it is just vital to frame the idea here that this brutal alternative version of America, controlled by a warmongering AI, with all of the media so censored and sinister, its politicians all phony figureheads, this is the world that Stephen Armstrong grew up in. Born sometime in the late 1960s, these are the systems, the events, the bloodshed that he understood as the status quo. And that simple fact, combined with the Patriots' dramatic fall and reveal in the 2000s, well, that shaped this villain at his very foundation. It forged his ambition, his personal goals, his unique ideology, and put a fire in his belly that would not be easily extinguished. So, long before Armstrong was a senator, he was of course just a kid, a guy, born and raised in Texas, USA, at some point relocating with his family to South Carolina, where he attended Pickens High School, which is actually a very real place. Here it is. And while at Pickens, he enrolled in the JROTC program, indicating a bit of interest in the armed forces. But right after finishing high school, Armstrong relocated back to his home state to attend the University of Texas, where let's just say he played a little ball, starring as the quarterback of the Longhorns football team, which, if you're an American like me, you understand the level of fame and glory that this dude enjoyed as a very young man. And also, so you get a full understanding of his physicality, Armstrong's canon height before any enhancements whatsoever is 6'7". Damn, I mean, that's an absolute giant, and obviously a bit of an athlete back in the day. But after college, instead of going to the NFL, Armstrong enlisted in the Navy, and as far as we can tell, never saw any combat of any kind. Then, once his service time was complete, relocated yet again to the state of Colorado, where he slowly but surely began to build interest in the great world of politics. Now, even though in the 2010s, the GWAI and the Patriot stuff had all come very publicly crashing down, private military companies were still very much in operation afterwards, still very powerful and very, very profitable. And at some unknown time, when Armstrong decided he was going to run for a seat on the Colorado State Senate, he became deeply
I didn't realize how
entangled
slow
with the
they were
largest
made.
PMC still standing.
Fucking one every
whose
Tuesday.
headquarters was conveniently located right there in downtown Denver. And what World Marshal specialized in is really what drives the entire story and setting of Metal Gear Rising: Vengeance: cybernetic enhancements. And of course, with his ties to such a titan of domestic defense, that kind of money, as well as his charming America First messaging, let's call it, Armstrong won his first election no problem. And at some point after that, the details of his backstory are admittedly very thin, Armstrong became not just the main benefactor of World Marshal, but essentially its CEO, while also becoming affiliated with another PMC entirely, known as Desperado, which had a similar affinity for cybernetics, almost exclusively developing and dispatching advanced cyborg warriors in common. But even with these sinister relationships, Armstrong had his eyes on bigger things still, as he next gunned for a seat on the United States Senate, rallying immense support from the people of Colorado, and quickly establishing himself nationally as a true up-and-coming political star, a breath of fresh air, an icon, old-school roll-up-your-sleeves and do-it-yourself libertarianism. And soon enough, he had won yet again, finding himself at last on Capitol Hill, even while being actively investigated for his increasingly shady connections to not one but two different massive private military companies. But hey, come on, this is America, baby. There's nothing you can do that would disqualify you in the eyes of 100 million adults at the 4th grade reading level if they already decided that they liked you and bought your bumper sticker. And thanks to his stirring speeches about the next great American Revolution and returning the country to its glory days, he established himself as the shoe-in favorite to win the 2020 presidential election. Sorry, Joe. And though one might think he is just your typical money-grubbing, war-loving, crooked American politician, Senator Armstrong's true motives here, his true plans for the country, for the future, should he win, well, those were known only to himself. Now, if you have watched some of my Villainopedia videos in the past, you know that I typically like to go just a little bit deeper than this on the backstory, really finding those key moments where characters get twisted or forced onto a path of evil or darkness. But for today's video, this is literally all we know. Armstrong isn't the villain of some story-driven RPG with a bunch of world building. Hell no, this is much more of an arcadey hack-and-slash experience. A violent, industrial, metal-powered sprinting fever dream where story is like maybe third or fourth on the list. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that is precisely what makes this character work so well as an antagonist. So in this game, you play as Raiden, a former Liberian child soldier turned super cyborg ninja man, as he works for a different type of military company altogether, known as the Dallas Maverick. Maverick Security Consultant. And in the game's opening mission,
It's in the chest down there next to the research lab.
Home that's going to be attacked. These other cyborg mercenaries working for Desperado Enforcement are pretty much trotting all over the world, ensuring unrest and war are constants so that their bosses can continue to rake in the cash. It's that simple. And personally, I am always really into the idea of a game having not just one or two, but a whole little gang of antagonists opposing the player, each one with their own distinct motivations. I feel it can give a really interesting kind of narrative buffer to the main big bad guy pulling the strings. And here in Revengeance, you actually don't even know that Senator Armstrong exists whatsoever until almost 2/3 of the way through. And I gotta say, this gang of secondary villains, they are fantastic characters in their own right. So first off, you have the coolest guy ever made, Samuel Rodriguez, aka Jetstream Sam, Raiden's main samurai-esque rival during the game, who literally cuts your ass to pieces, taking your eyeball and nearly killing you right after the intro mission. And man, he's just so cool. He's so Brazilian. Then there is the core team of cyborg warriors known as the Winds of Destruction. Mistral, this multi-armed French lady whose entire personality is all about being a child soldier just like Raiden, but really learning to love the hunt, the thrill of the kill. Then you have Monsoon, the Cambodian mercenary who can dislocate his entire body with these super magnets. And his message to Raiden is that no matter what you do or think, it's only natural for the strong to prey upon the weak. And finally, you have their leader, who you're kind of led to believe is the main antagonist at first, this big, egg-headed cyborg from Alabama named Sundown, who just straight up loves war. He loves battle. He loves blood. He's ridiculous as hell. But what I really enjoy about this crew is how they kind of power scale in a very classic video game way, making the linear progression through them, through the game, and toward Armstrong extremely rewarding, extremely fun, challenging, and I think kind of endlessly replayable.
It's only
So
getting
that's
to
kind
the
of
first
past,
one
but
again.
let's really get down to the fine print. What is actually happening here? I mean, what is Senator
It'll
Armstrong
sometimes
trying
get to the
accomplish in
second,
this game? And thus, what
and
is the player
seldom get to the third.
Well, the first big story is the Winds of Destruction being sent to an unnamed African country to
So it looks
kidnap
like
and
we
kill
need-
its prime minister just to keep the region from tragically
For
falling
4,
into
it looks like we
peace
might
and
need
prosperity.
20.
You gotta love this
Maybe
classic
50.
line.
Africa's just getting a bit too peaceful.
Then, after Raiden gets his ass whooped and is refitted with some shiny new cybernetics, you chase these goons to Jordan, where Desperado is trying to orchestrate a big military.
Although,
using these crazy
wait,
ass Chechen
it's copper
extremists.
wire
But
that's our
that doesn't
problem.
really work out well either. And though the plot is pretty disjointed and kind of all over the place at first, Raiden then follows these villains to Mexico, where he uncovers the main horrible, disgusting villainous thing they're up to. Desperado and World Marshal have together been stockpiling small orphan
go.
children, trafficking them, and then removing their brains from their bodies and placing them in cold storage, with plans to then move all these brains to the World Marshal HQ in Denver to condition them with constant VR training systems to turn them into hardened killers, finally then placing these little kid brains inside
See,
of
the solution
powerful
was just faster
cybernetic
arms.
bodies once they were mature. Now that is some depraved, disgustingly evil shit that specifically triggers Raiden given his child
Like,
soul
slow
brain
these
past.
two arms
And it's
down.
also at this point in the story that you see Armstrong for the very first time in a short and cryptic little scene.
It's not like we can just pop out with an ice cream scoop. All right. Make your point. Oh, thank you for understanding. Certainly, I will destroy any unharvested inventory. Yeah? But have you any idea what they cost? Last I checked, the children weren't exactly rare in this part of the world. Millions of them, in fact. We can get more once we set up a new lab. They lead lives of hunger and pain. We're performing a service for them and the cities they burn.
And I love how traditional this feels as far as storytelling. You know, very comic book, very campy, seeing only his back and hearing the voice of his obvious puppet master. But in my opinion, one of the most vital narrative elements with this villain and with the game overall that is somehow often overlooked by fans
Oh, I got
is your
3.
hero, Raiden himself. Because during the course of the main story missions, let me tell you, this guy is just going through it, stuck in a constant psychological battle about what he's really doing and why, what he has become. This is a character that wants to see himself as a traditional hero, a man who overcame a traumatic past and now chooses to fight, chooses
There
to
we go.
use his
We
power
got
to
to all
defend
4.
the weak, the downtrodden, his sword merely a
Look,
tool
ready
of
to
that
restart
justice.
again.
But at nearly every turn, he is
Why?
reminded of his own
Searching
brutality,
advanced material
destructive
processing.
nature. His past life, where he was known as Jack the Ripper for
The
doing
electric
horrible,
furnaces are here.
unspeakable things. So
Oh
this
shit,
whole
we gotta
moment where he
because they're
uncovers the
bigger.
stuff
That's
before him,
right.
it nearly
produce
breaks
more.
him, understandably so.
I don't necessarily
he
mind
wants
kind
to
of
go
redoing
march through the front
this
doors
factory
of World
just
Marshal
quick
in
right
Denver and murder all these evil bastards like right away. But his
Don't have a
employers say
problem
we
with it
can't let you
either.
do that. That would be too messy politically,
Honestly.
legally, too much red tape. So instead, he blazes his own path,
Just leave the
heading there
coal
completely
alone
by
and
himself as a
redo everything
one-man
else.
army, willing to burn the entire place down to its
I'll be-
foundation to do what he feels, what he knows is right. And I
gonna
just
pick up
want you
the
to
next thing.
remember that simple fact for later on. And really, every one of those bosses we discussed, they
Really don't
tease
wanna
some
deal with it,
part
like,
of this out of
breaking
Raiden.
shit.
They poke him where it really hurts, making him question his motives, his actions. Until at last, it's Monsoon who gets him to just crack forward, embracing his bloodthirst, his Jack the Ripper persona. And after that point, well, it is a dead sprint of blood and destruction and guts toward the very end of the game. And I mean, seriously, guys, if you haven't played this before, I highly recommend it. It's even more fun than it looks. But it is pretty interesting that even as you are literally murdering all of his pawns, destroying the entire Denver Police Department and the World Marshal HQ in the state that he represents, Senator Armstrong is nowhere to be found. You definitely think this would be his big moment
There's
to
Copper up here, by
stomp
the
into
way.
the story, introducing himself and trying to put an end to all of Raiden's meddling. But no, it's only once you reach the top of the skyscraper, in the room charmingly lined with the brains of small children, that Sundown teases something big is coming in just a few hours. He also openly talks about 9/11, which always surprises the hell out of me. But it does seem that you were drawn here by Armstrong intentionally. But, you know, you're here. So you engage in an epic duel to the death with Sundowner in the brain of the top world marshal. It's amazing. And after hacking him to hamburger helper, you interrogate what little is left.
Attaboy, Jack.
What happens in 3 hours?
You launch Operation Tecumseh.
Who? Armstrong?
I've already said too much.
And this really is Armstrong's main stroke of evil genius in the game. While Raiden is occupied back in the Mile High State, the current president of the U.S., Hamilton, just happens to be headed to Pakistan for some peace negotiations amid ongoing tensions. And there, Armstrong and his desperado forces have orchestrated an assassination attempt, which, if successful, would result in something very familiar to us real-world Americans, a second, quote, war on terror, ensuring a long and profitable conflict for years and years to come. And I really want to take a
Ran
second
out of
to try
ammo.
to illustrate to you how insane this final chunk of the game is. So after Raiden kills Sundown, you try to escape to make it way over to Pakistan in time, but, well, it doesn't work, and you fall back down into the depths of Denver. Then you have to, like Sonic Battle 2, escape from the city here, eventually hopping on a motorcycle and riding out into the desert where you hope to make it to a literal spacecraft that can get you to the Middle East in just minutes. But along the way, of course, it is Sam, the coolest guy ever made, who stops you in the middle of the Badlands, and you have a classic cowboy samurai sundown duel, by far my favorite fight in the entire game. Then shortly after this, Raiden arrives at the military base, where there is a Ryu working the gate. Then you meet with the tiny girl who built the entire shuttle seemingly by herself, and she says, okay, have fun over in Pakistan, Uncle Raiden. And at this point in the game, it all makes complete sense. But once you arrive in the land of Pure and dispatch a bunch more Cybermen, the moment we've all been waiting for is near at hand. Raiden is attacked by a massive crab-like Metal Gear called Celsius, and guess who's manning the controls?
Well, if it isn't Saucy Jack. Just a little too late, as usual. Armstrong. Impressive little toy you've got there. But your plan ends here. Idiot. You're not ending our plan. You're expanding it. Check the internet lately.
Plenty of steel down here.
Ryder, Air Force One
Probably.
is coming back to the state.
How'd they know?
Someone posted photos of what's happening on the base. The whole world is up in arms.
Show me. How did they? The story leaked early, and Marshall's plan is ruined.
The hell it is. Look what they're saying. The story just went live, and already they're calling for blood.
But the president was saved
And yet American blood was spilled.
by Americans. Besides, a few dozen soldiers is tragic, but nothing to start a major war over.
That's just a spark, son. The excuse we've been waiting for. America's wanted this war for years. Patriots, they knew war was good for the economy. 4 years later, their legacy lingers on.
The means.
They left us their great isms. Nationalism, unilateralism, materialism. Welcome maxims for those with no faith, without guiding principles of their own. Give yourself up to the whole. No need to better yourself. You're American. You're number one. Then the only value left is dollar value. The economy. So we'll do whatever it takes to keep it humming along. Even war. Especially war.
Bullshit!
The Patriots planted the seed. We don't need them around to filter and foster their memes any longer. We're spreading them just fine ourselves. Every American man, woman, and child. We're all sons of a Patriots now!
Man, this character is just ridiculous. The little sound effects when he's doing his arm movements, the fact that he calls you Saucy Jack, and if you aren't already aware, the use of the word meme in Metal Gear is much more tied to its academic definition, as a unit of cultural information, like an idea, a behavior, or style that spreads from person to person through imitation, kind of like genes do biologically.
All those workers spending money, paying taxes. Trust me, a little more can work wonders.
So grease the gears with some innocent blood, is that it?
Oh, relax, Jack. It's a war on terror. We're not out to kill civilians. Extremists, lawless gangs, madmen. Of course, that would have to include you. Wouldn't want any eyewitness reports complicating the message.
But here, initially, Armstrong is trying to convince Raiden that he is kind of perpetuating that Patriot legacy, that war must always be waged, before hopping into Metal Gear and starting Phase 1 of a fantastic final fight. all of the pace, all of the difficulty of Revengeance really builds to this encounter so perfectly, and the soundtrack is just on another level. And look at this man. They got you doing the samurai sword thing, but with the massive arm of the Metal Gear. Now this is gaming. And once the gear is nothing but a scrap, Armstrong re-emerges for yet another incredibly memorable fight.
Slippery little bastard. I don't have time for this.
Oh, you've gotta be kidding me.
Let's go!
The hell are you thinking?
Played college ball, you know.
That's some cushy Ivy League school.
Try University of Texas. Could have gone pro if I hadn't joined the Navy. I'm not one of those beltway pansies. I could break the president in two with my bare hands. Don't fuck with this, Senator.
What the hell are you?
Why don't you stick around and find out? I could crush you with just one fist.
I cannot even tell you. The first time I was playing this game on my Xbox 360, I was laughing my ass off right now, but I was also genuinely terrified of just how difficult this fight was about to be.
What? Nice, nice.
All my base resources in this chest right here, and I'm gonna be right back.
Typical politician. Big promises, but all talk.
What?
Including the steel.
Jumpstart the economy. What a load of bullshit! All you care about is lining your own pockets. That and your approval ratings. You've got no principles. Just like all the rest. If America's gone to shit, you're just another maggot crawling in the pile.
All right. The truth then. You're right about one thing. I do need capital and votes. Wanna know why? I have a dream. What? That one day, every person in this nation will control their own destiny. A land of the truly free, damn it. A nation of action, not words, ruled by strength, not committee. Where the law changes to suit the individual, not the other way around. Where power and justice are back where they belong, in the hands of the people. Where every man is free to think, to act for himself. Fuck all these lunatic lawyers, chicken shit bureaucrats. Fuck this 24/7 internet spew of trivia and celebrity bullshit. Fuck American pride. no saving it. We need to pull it out by the roots. Wipe the slate clean. Burn it down! And from the ashes, a new America will be born! Evolved, but unchanged! The weak will be purged. And the strongest will thrive. Free to live as they see fit. They'll make America great again!
What the hell are you talking about?
You still don't get it. I'm using war as a business to get elected! So I can end war as a business. In my new America, people will die and kill for what they believe! Not for money, not for oil! Not for what they're told is right. Every man will be free to fight his own wars!
Now this is obviously the mask-off moment. A moment that genuinely surprised me the first time I played Revengeance. Armstrong claims that he isn't looking to perpetuate all these issues, but exploit them to get himself inside the machine so he can tear the whole thing apart, drain the swamp, if you will.
How the hell did you get elected?
Well, I don't write my own speeches. You should try fighting for what you believe in sometime, Jack. Not for a company or a nation or for anyone else.
Maybe I was wrong about you.
Am I finally getting through? I'll rid this world of pointless wars, Jack.
I was wrong. You're not greedy. You're batshit insane!
And though I was absolutely with him there for a minute about America being rotten and all the media and the patriotism and stuff, he totally lost me and lost Ryan. The second he suggested a sort of social Darwinist utopia for thought. But don't worry, we're gonna get to his philosophies in a minute.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't fret over every egg.
Not when you're purging the weak, right? What do you know about the weak? You weren't born poor. You've never been hungry. You don't know what it's like to fight, and steal, and kill just to survive.
But you did survive! Through sheer force of will, following your own set of rules. With your own two hands, you took back your life!
And now, I'll take yours.
And if you know me, you know I'm always a big fan of video game villains who give you these sections where you're meant to feel utterly powerless. It's kind of stupid, but it's just classic. Look at this DBZ-ass shit.
Why won't you die?
Nanomachines, son. They harden in response to physical trauma. You can't hurt me, Jack. What did I just say? Time to end this.
But as you reach the final phase of the fight, where Raiden's sword is broken, his body is crumpled, and his spirits dash, the only hope he has left should be obvious to anyone. That his reformed evil robot dog companion, previously thought to be dead, appears with the super powerful weapon of his fallen rival Jetstream Sam, who also ended up not being that bad of a guy, and even left you a voicemail. Again, listen, it makes sense while you're playing the games, trust me.
I said my sword was a tool of justice. Not used in anger. Not used for vengeance. But now I'm not so sure. And besides, this isn't my sword.
The wreckage of the Metal Gear engulfed in flames all around you, Armstrong doing his best perfect Cell imitation, and nowhere left to go. This is an incredible final phase that will challenge you immensely, because the main real mechanics combat-wise are parrying your enemies' attacks perfectly, and of course, the Fruit Ninja. So if you go into this with very few healing items in the bank, like I did, you have to be nearly perfect on both fronts, especially on higher difficulties. And again, the song that plays here is just dripping in commentary. I don't want to play the full thing because I don't want to get slapped by the copyright stick, but here's just some of the lyrics. Man, I know a lot of people hate these quick time events, but for me, I don't even care. Look at this. I'm afraid it's absolutely peak in a top 3 boss fight in any Metal Gear game. The person, the energy, the weight of the impact of every hit, and when you finally grind him down enough, you earn the satisfaction of the final one.
Well done, Jack. Your dream dies with you. Maybe not. You've guaranteed the status quo will go on. For a while longer, at least. War will continue as an institution. As an industry. Men will fight for reasons they don't understand. Causes they don't believe in. But at least I'll leave a worthy successor. You, Jack. You carve your own path. Use whatever methods you see fit. You don't let legal bullshit get in the way. And if it costs a few lives, so be it. Inside, kindred spirits. You and I.
Pretty amazing and pretty haunting final words. Because when you look at all the things we touched on, the things Raiden goes through over the course of this game, over the course of his life, going way back to Metal Gear Solid 2, I think Armstrong might have a damn good point. But that, my friends, is a story for another time.
Did Vince end up deciding what to eat for food?
So even though it's a small villainous
I thought
restricted to the final chapter or so of a short but sweet video game, I think you can see why
not that I
Armstrong
know
has
of.
made quite an impression on fans over the last decade. What a personality! What a design with
Not my
that
spine
tin
for
hat,
anything.
stupid little glasses, and what a
we've
great
already
performance
eaten.
from the
That's what we were out doing.
Alistair Dunn. But if you wrap things up here, hit the end credits, and are still left
probably
wanting
just do the
more,
raids then.
well, partner, do I ever have good news for you.
Unfortunate.
Revengeance includes 2 very small DLC.
Unless Carmen wants to go
One
give
of
me a
which
shake and you
puts
want
right in
Sonic.
the shoes of the coolest guy ever made, Jetstream
Right,
Senior.
that first
And it is just great.
Ooh.
I love it.
Congrats.
Narratively, it's a prequel to
Do
the
you have
events of
frozen
the
pizza?
game that follows Sam as he attempts to infiltrate World
He
Marshal
does,
himself,
he says.
actually intending to kill Armstrong and
Apparently,
deliver
you can get
destruction.
50% off
Because he
the
also sees
things
the
you
MCs
get.
as disgusting for sitting around officers
there like an
while
efficient way
soldiers
to
spill innocent
consolidate,
blood
like,
abroad. But obviously, we already
iron?
know that he does end up working for Armstrong for some reason. So basically, the senator
Like,
and
having
his
one
sidekicks
conveyor
have
belt
intended to recruit Sam
for an entire
specifically
patch
for a
of
long time as a mercenary
iron
because of his reputation for
wouldn't
being
yield the
a
results I want.
terrifyingly powerful swordsman. So Armstrong actually totally
I don't
welcomes
think.
this assault on his work.
Say that again? I was thinking, what?
I want to try to add as many
He calls him as he
drills as I
ascends the
can
tower
to a patch of
/encouragement.
material.
But you also get shown
Okay.
this really fun cutscene in a Japanese garden where he's talking to Monsoon
try and
about how much he
consolidate all
despises cherry blossom trees, which
potential
are,
things
of
you
course,
can make
famously
from iron.
linked to Washington, D.C. during the springtime. But he just
you wanna take
despises
one-
their fragility, their fleeting beauty, an
Say this one
obvious
over here,
contradiction to
right?
his core values
To the left
strength
of us,
and
and you want to
power.
turn
It's just really,
that
really good
entire
stuff.
patch
Then by the
into
end
just
of the
all
DLC,
of its
Sam
base
makes it to the
production.
top of World Marshal to face
Effectively,
Steven
yeah.
one-on-one. And
So you
oh
want
my
it to
God,
produce
this is the most difficult fight in
iron,
the entire game,
which
especially
produce
in the entire
plates,
difficulty.
which
Just
can produce
crazy
gears
punishment. Because in
and
this one,
rods.
the senator starts with his
Have the
shirt
plates
off,
also
already in
produce
full nanomachine
into
mode. There is no
steel,
phases, there is
and
no
then have the
games.
steel
Just
produce
balls to
itself.
the walls.
Yes?
Armstrong, ridiculous.
Yeah, effectively. I
And
just don't
toward
know
the end,
if it should be
he
like
tries
through
the
one
very same
conveyor
tactic
belt
he
or
did with Raiden,
should be
exposing his
multiple
true
conveyor
plans
belts on
to
one
abolish war as a business.
On
by
this
line.
early,
And
it
just
would
like
have
Raiden,
to be
Sam isn't
multiple
convinced
conveyor
whatsoever,
belts.
successfully timing
But
his sickest
later
elements
on, I
to
think you
slice
could do
the
one
senator's
conveyor
hand
belt.
clean
It's just
off.
about speed
Even
right
that
now.
is
The
not
conveyor
enough.
belts don't go
So
very
it's really
fast.
fun to see how this
well,
guy,
we're about to
who
get
ended up learning his
so
own
if you-
evil at all, was kind of beat
we're
into
all- I'm
submission by
basically just holding out for a bit.
saving his own life by joining the bad guys, and eventually falling
I'm
Raiden's hand
actually,
way out there.
unfortunately, I think
It's just nice.
conveyor twos are still not fast enough
Now,
to do
I've
what
said
you
it
want.
before, and I'm going to say it again right now. By far the most
Well, I
common
just want the
comment
most
I get
efficient
in these
way.
villain videos,
doesn't have
regardless
to
of
be
the
one
topic,
conveyor belt.
is
I just
something
don't
in the
know
theme
how
of
many conveyor
blank did nothing wrong.
Oh, I have no
And
idea how
believe
many
me, I
conveyor
can
belts.
already see the comments you guys are leaving on this one right now. Armstrong is based villain with like 30 question marks.
Because the
I
new
think you misspelled
furnaces
hero
are fucking
P.
nutty.
Believe me, I've seen them all
They're
before.
fucking
And when it comes to a character like this
Yes, yes, they
specific,
are.
I find those comments to be genuinely fascinating, especially considering a huge chunk of my audience is American like myself. And Armstrong, though he is outwardly
I thought you were
silly and
gonna
fun
tear
and
this down. I
lighthearted,
left a
I would say is a pretty
chest
obvious
with all my
character
stuff in it, all my important
of
stuff, so you could tear
culture,
this down and
politics,
rebuild.
and
No, I
period.
was gonna wait for research.
So I guess I would ask you this simple question.
I want to do that.
When
just-
you think of the United States of America in the abstract, what immediately comes to mind? And I'm not trying to trick anybody. Is it barbecue? Is it beer, baseball, football, cornfields, the Empire State Building? Maybe something not as positive? Well, I would bet big money that many of you guys might bring up the big F.
Oh, I've made 60
freedom,
furnaces.
the
by
right to
way.
do what you want,
Those
how
big
you want,
furnaces?
when you
Yeah,
want,
the steel,
assuming it's
yeah.
within the law, or you exist in a
14
tax
on it.
bracket where the law doesn't apply to
I'll go ahead and put
but
these
when
in
you
here,
look at Armstrong's
so you can do
whole
whatever you want with
backstory,
them.
his college football
right here.
days, his birthplace being Texas, his disgust at the era of the Patriots and all the shadow government control of the American people, the way he
What
seeks to
stage
aggressively
is
overcome
the
and
robot?
blaze a
What
new
stage are the
path.
robots?
He really is kind of an avatar of that reckless concept of American freedom, or at the very least, the personification of the way that many people around the world view our nation. Willing to do pretty much anything it takes abroad so that the home soil can thrive in the way that he sees fit. Wanting to stand up for something that he believes is just, but lies, cheats, and murders under the guise of nationalism to do so. And above all else,
Can I see the
Armstrong
whole tech
believes
tree?
in that social Darwinist structure that I mentioned earlier, a sort of post-democracy anarchistic state of pure freedom, primordial freedom, where, as he says, a man can fight his own wars and the strong will dominate the weak. And while I could rant ad nauseum about the modern real US and all of our current issues, I think when you look at the America within the Metal Gear universe,